What's up YouTube? Frayed Hero here. I played Buddyfight today, scrubbed out in Vanguard using Sanctuary Guard, so we're not gonna go any further than that. I got to like round 5 and lost there. But I lost to Brawlers with Sanctuary Guard. It's kinda understandable. But anyway, yeah, so I got 4th place in Buddyfight. Really small tournament though, only like 21 people. Hero World topping all over, lots of Hero World. So I'm playing Hero World. Since I got 4th, I figured my deck won't be on the internet, so I'll put it there myself. Sounds a little narcissistic, but you know. So yeah, my buddy, as you can see, is a rescue drum. The popular is the E-launch drum with like Captain Answer, but I'm like, I like this card. It's funny. It clears boards against anything that calls monsters kind of frequently. It punishes it, which actually was pretty great in one of my top 8 games against Purgatory Knights. I OTK'd him on the game 1. It was hilarious. A lot of people were watching that too, and it was just quick and dirty, and yeah. Well, no, I guess it was a second turn kill because I went first, dealt 2 damage or something, and yeah, I ended up winning the turn after when I got to my next turn. Yeah, so starting off with size 1s. 2 Mock Bravers. I only have 2, but I honestly feel like you don't want to run too many, or at least I don't want to run too many because he's a wimp, but having the option to protect yourself without the use of a spell is great because in the Hero World mirror matches, spell negates exist and they hurt if they are able to use it, but yeah, if they have Penetrate, like with Kaiserion, you're a little sad no matter what. At least if they have something on the side, it can block that, assuming they don't link attack. And then size 1s, 3 Commander Gales for the drum. It actually helped a lot. Unfortunately, I didn't get them enough against the Kaiserion matchup because he makes it a 6, and my opponents kept having slash arcs for the most part, so it helped drum to hit the 6 needed to just be able to hit in general. That's all I really have to say about that. And getting gauge is also always great when you don't have hyper energies, and or just alternative ways if you like burn through your gauge and just don't have a lot of cards. So then there was also 2 project gunners, again for more gauge building, and it's only usable when you're in transform anyway, so it's not always gonna work, but it also helps for the like the Mock Bravers in Hero World because they can spell negate your hyper energy, which can potentially cost you the game if you can't get the gauge and they spell negate it. So more ways to get gauge is always good. And then 2 Heroic Bladers because move, it has 2 crit, it's not bad. Its stats are not terrible, but it's there for the move because it's extra protection if they don't have Penetrate. Like it kind of kept me alive against Ozzy Dahaka's deck, but I still ended up losing that one because awkward hands are awkward. And then the last size 1's 3 Sill Barriers, or however you pronounce his name. Just when you transform, call him by paying 1 gauge to draw a card. Unfortunately, that's part of his call cost, so you can't call him just to have easily. You always gotta pay the gauge, so it's kinda iffy. Just really hope you're transformed with him. And then the buddy for Justice Drums, it's pretty MVP. It really helped me against one of our other channel members, Taco, with his dungeon enemies. I just got to punch rear guards against the Darkness Dragon World Purgatory Knights. I cleared his 3 cards on board, and then my Prominence Burst went to 5 crit, and then I proceeded to win that turn on my 3rd or 2nd turn. And then just overall though, it also did kind of help against Kaiserion because if they committed to the front, I'd punch it, and then assuming I was on Promise Birds, I get a boost. That's also assuming they weren't like a 6k or something, or if I didn't have Gale to help me hit the 6. But for most other matchups, this does put in a lot of work, clearing boards.
Because what is defense?
And then because I'm running, what did I do with my cards? Oh, there they are. Since I'm running Drum, I'm also maxing out on Prominence Burst. It's one of your rides for it combos with this, like I said, because it gets +1 crit for every superhero successfully destroying something. So with Drum, you can hit like 3 cards, get +3 crit, and then he's just fat crit. But he's also free call costs on like to the field, so you can just drop a size 2 with 5/2/4. It's not bad. It's pretty big. It's just a decent card. And then the wonky techs. 1 E-launch Drum. We had a lot of trouble getting Miracle Impact for the long time. And when we finally did, we were pretty much broke. But my friend did manage to pull this out of like his 2 boxes. So he gave it to me to use, and I told him I would run it in my deck, and I did. It actually did help me out in a couple games because I actually did get to use this effect. But usually the Rescue Drum was the better play. It's just this was a nice option on some things. Like the Kaizerion match, this actually helps because even with Slash Shark, it's still 6, and then my item could still attack and do stuff. It was pretty nice. And it's always just nice having this pretty looking Buddy rare, just doing stuff. And 1 Decker Drum. It didn't do too much. I mean, I got to pop like an Aussie Dahaka with it and stuff, but
oh, that's how you got rid of it?
That's kind of just it when I got it, it did something. Sometimes it was like a 3 crit beater turn 1 if I didn't have like a transform, which I realized a little later that I didn't have that many transforms, which kind of got me killed in the top 8 because I was like, well, in the top 4 more specifically, I did not open in 4 games a single transform in my opening hand, even after charge and draw, and I went first almost every game, so it's awkward. I went first against, I think, the Brave Machines, but then yeah, against the Aussie Dahawk, I think I went second every time. That's beside the point anyway. I used to run the other promo drum, the one that 2 gauge pops an item or a monster on the field or something like that, but it was just a call cost 2 gauge. It was too hefty and it didn't always work. And I also used to run Road Blader for a secondary backup ride and stuff, but I rarely ever felt the need to go into him. But today it actually would have came in handy if I managed to use it, because I probably could have popped Kaizerions like that, which I probably should have sideboarded. I'll get to my side later and the choices that I regret. Yeah, 1 Captain Answer. It's my only one. He looks cool. He's like 4s. It's like pretty cool rider. And it's also free on call, even though it's Transformers too, but unfortunately, if you guys saw me play today, in the 4 rounds of Swiss we actually played, I got his skill off once, or properly, and I've tried well over 10 times, and everyone around me pretty much knew, like my opponents knew I was just not hitting it. People were pitying me because they were like, I've never seen someone whiff Captain Answer that many times.
You freaked out the one time you pulled it off, because that was pretty much game.
Oh yeah, when I did get it off, it was against Purgatory Knights, and it was like for game, and it was pretty great, or just really helped get me game anyway. And then 3 final modes. I really want to run 4, but I currently only have 3. Like honestly, this kind of actually messed me up a lot, because I'd always get him, and then very, very shortly after, if not the turn after, I'd draw this, and being the just the power he's at in defense is far greater than this. So if I was actually on this, it might have helped me in some games, because the defense is huge, and popping cards with this effect, if I actually did manage to call it right, would have been... Alright, so I'm not sure where I got cut off, because the battery died. So hopefully nothing too important got cut out from the Captain Answer. So we're going on to the spells now. 4 I've seen 3 removes, very self-explanatory. It's one of the few complete nullifiers you have, really. So you gotta run 4. Need the open center though, which can be a little awkward sometimes with like Mock Raver and other things. But anyway, yeah. Moving on. 4 Justice will prevail. It was kinda for me, because it just didn't give enough power because of the link attacks hitting for huge numbers that just wouldn't keep me alive with my Transforms defenses. And then they would clog to hand sometimes, so I'd honestly consider dropping this to 3. I sat it out a couple times too because it was really awkward getting multiples of those in a row and just not being able to do anything with it, especially when they weren't attacking the monsters with low attack to things that I could actually make good use out of it with. So it was a little unfortunate running that card. And then 3, or So the Dream I Had Once. It's basically kind of a win condition, or just a really good card, because if you negate the right cards, you can completely shut people off and prevent them from doing anything, or you can just make really good pushes for game with this card, because if they attempt to, nullify your attack or whatever, you just cast this and they just take all the damage because they can't respond anymore. So yeah, it's a great card. Kind of scary in the mirror match because they might do this to you too. And I've actually had that happen against one of the Brave Machine players. He was like using Solar Panel Man too, so this was only 1 gauge, and he was using Call Super Machines for free, and it was pretty nutty. But yeah, so not much more to say about that card. And then there's like the best gauge giver in the entire game, one of the best, Hyper Energy. You can just cast it once per turn, and you get 4 gauge. That's all it is. It's great. You get all this beautiful gauge, and you can use all your cool effects for very cheap. Well, I wouldn't say cheap, but easy to get back. And then 2, It's About Time I Got Serious. It's just, your late game draw cards, because drawing is good. And it's a cool card name. So I'm running 2, it's Here the New Suit, kind of also same feeling about the Justice Will Prevails, same issue, just having these at the wrong time and not giving it enough to deal with the link attacks. It's just, yeah, for the most part though, I just wasn't getting this and I needed it, because this actually would have helped against things like Kazarion if I had like the Captain Answer on the board. But unfortunately, I did not get them what I needed them, and there's only 2, so a little understandable why I didn't get them. And then there's the Tech Arduous Trainings. Well, for half of the reason, I knew my friend was playing Seeger, so this would help, and then I figured there were other decks that were center oriented, so getting the Penetrate with extra crit would be great, because apparently my friend was also playing his dungeon enemies with size 3s and stuff, so this was going to help. And there was like a Death Talica running around and other shenanigans, so yeah, there's that. And also you can put the life to your favor in a sense, where I did actually was like, I was at 7, I cast this, and then I was able to use It's the Time to Get Serious, or It's About Time I Got Serious, so I was able to draw into stuff and continue to go off and apply pressure. And it kind of helps against Kazarion on those awkward moments where or especially with the double attack, so you can hit twice with an extra crit if you get Answer right. And then there's 2, that is an After Image, so it's just, there to protect your important cards, keep it on the board, so you can still do stuff with them. The amount of times I got my item popped when I didn't have this in hand was really sad. That's why I side more. Yeah. And then last but not least, 2 impacts. I was originally running the other impact, where it was the one for like the one with drum and stuff on it, but yeah, that one you need to kill like 2 or more things in that turn, and this is almost the same thing. The only difference is this one has to be 3 or less life for your opponents, and you do need a superhero on your field and a completely empty board, so there's a harder requirement, but cheaper cost and technically easier to pull off, because if they don't play a deck that calls a lot of stuff, you won't ever get to use your other impact. I did actually beat the Brave Machine player with this impact in round 1. The one who actually went to go get first place, he only had 1 Call Sleeper Machine, but he got it almost every single time against me in the games we played. It's kind of nice to know that I actually did beat the person who got first. And then to the side deck, which is very regrettable, 2, that is an After Image to try to keep my things alive if they had massive removal, which I really only sided against like Dahaka, but that didn't help, because honestly the decks I played against my sides were just not really good for. 2, there I see it's to pop small things like there are decks that do run small cards, and it's kind of important to get rid of some of them, which I really didn't actually end up playing against, since I played against Kaizerion 4 times today. There were 3 Kaizerion players. I played against 3 of them in Swiss, or all 3 in Swiss, and then 1 in the top 4. So yeah, that was really unfortunate for me, because my side deck has pretty much nothing to help me against Kaizerion. Ironically, I did know that Kaizerion was going to be a thing, but I thought my main deck would be ample enough, and that apparently was not true. I probably should have sided a little harder for it. And then 3 Reckless Braveries. This was for more center-oriented decks as well. So I could give Drum, make him a 10k with crit and penetrate. Or I mean, sorry, just +5 and penetrate. So, you know, he could hit things with Soul Guard in the center, and then penetrate, and then, you know, attack again and do even more damage. That was the intent. Never got to use it. Never played against the center heavy decks, really, except for the dungeon enemies, but I kind of just managed to get good cards and steamrolled him, unfortunately. And 2, I've come back to take you down. This did absolutely nothing. It just stayed on the sideboard. I never felt the need to use it, because I didn't really play against that much master removal, so it was dead. Just wasted side deck slot. And 1 Tenbu, because my deck name was Let's Henshin from Drive, you know, the Mox Henshin quote, but and then it also was Let's Henshin for, and then I put Tenbu, because, you know, what happened in the anime if you watched it, and then for Chaser, if you watch Drive, then you'll understand. So it was just kind of like a homage to them. And I was hoping to get that name on the website, but I was one game shy of managing that, but that's alright. And that's the entire deck I played with today. There's a lot of things I would have changed in the side deck. Main deck was pretty good for the most part, but yeah, there's not much I could say other than maybe playing the super meta, you know, E-launch with Answer, because that build is pretty nutty in itself. But yeah, I enjoyed my deck, and I had fun, and I got to use my favorite deck, which is great, and I did pretty well with it. So yeah, that's basically the video. Just wanted to point out that my badge number was also number 4, and I got 4th. That's, you know, one of those silly things that happen. But yeah, anyways, see you guys.